Please welcome Dan Shapero.
Hello. It's wonderful to be here at Talent Connect with all of you. Many of you have come from far and wide, representing companies across all industries and many of the brands that I love. And I also see a lot of friendly faces in the audience from prior Talent Connects. It's great to have you here. And I'd like to welcome those of you tuning in the live stream. We have a wonderful product portfolio to share with you today, which we'll get to momentarily. I wanted to also say hello, though, to the Glint team. As Jeff mentioned earlier this week, LinkedIn announced our, round of applause, fans of Glint. I just want to say hello to the Glint team. So excited to go work with you going forward. As Jeff mentioned, LinkedIn was interested in Glint first as a customer. It's had such a profound impact on our company. And they are a leader in the employee engagement space. And so later in the keynote, Jim Barnett, their CEO, is going to come and join me on stage, and we'll talk a little bit about the vision that we've been talking about together. This is a special Talent Connect in particular, because for the first time, we've invited customers of LinkedIn Learning, members of the L&D community, leaders in talent analytics, leaders in diversity and inclusion, and the broadening of the audience in Talent Connect for us is really about thinking in a much more holistic way for LinkedIn about the role that we can play in the talent space. We believe that these functions, recruiting, development, diversity, analytics, are fundamental to the modern HR organization. So it's wonderful to be here with all of you. It's also great to be here in Anaheim. You know, I've got 3 kids at home. My boys are 9 and 7, and my daughter Avery is 4. And oftentimes when I take a trip, we'll pull out a map or go online and look up the place I'm going, Chicago, New York, London, and they like to see where it is. And this year, I kind of played it up a little like, I'm going to Disneyland. Now, I said I'm going to Disneyland, but it became very clear very quickly that they heard we. And so I had to unwind the expectation, and eventually got to the question, you're going to Disneyland alone? Well, I said, no, actually I'm going with 4,000 of my friends. Well, who are these people that you're going to Disneyland at? And I said, well, think about all the cool things in your life. Think about the shoes you wear, the bike you ride, the movie you love. Each one of these things was built by a team of people somewhere in the world. And I'm meeting with the people behind those people. They're people. And as it turns out, the people in this room had a fantastic year. Together as a community, we helped over 4 million people get new jobs and helped over 18 million people learn new skills. These numbers are huge. Give yourself a round of applause. Now, to be honest, I'm actually a little fearful of these big numbers. They're so large that I think we sometimes perhaps glaze over on the impact that getting a new job or learning a new skill can have on someone's life. And it's important for us to never lose sight of that. There's a program at LinkedIn called LinkedIn Coaches, which I'm really proud to be the sponsor of. And every quarter, hundreds of LinkedIn employees in our offices all over the world sit down with members of the local community from disadvantaged areas, and they help them on a career problem, whether it's practicing interviewing for a new job or learning a digital skill that isn't something that they grew up with. What you learn from this experience is the profound impact you can have by helping someone take that next step towards opportunity, whether it is about a new job or it's about preparing for the job that they always wanted. And so my ask of all of you is to use Talent Connect as a time to hold in your hearts the idea that our success has the potential to change people's lives in very profound ways. It's also a really exciting time to be in the talent industry because more than ever, it's become very clear to CEOs and leaders all over the world that great companies are built on winning teams. Behind every transformational initiative, behind every new product launch, behind every new strategy that we pursue, behind our businesses showing up for our customers with value is a team. And our job as a community is to help our organizations build those winning teams, especially in a time when skills are in short supply, and especially at a time when one of the key questions we're always getting from our leadership is how do we make sure that our organizations have the capabilities that they need to drive the business forward? Now, over the years, the problems that have been in front of us as we've thought about advancing towards building winning teams for our organizations have changed. I can remember prior Talent Connects, where one of the things that we would talk about is, how do we find people to contact for the professional roles that we're having so hard to fill? And so we spent a lot of time as a group learning about how to unlock the power of passive sourcing. We spent time thinking about, how do we build a talent brand? And so we learned how to market our jobs, much like we do our products and services. And as the skills that our organizations need to advance have changed at a more rapid pace, we learned how to digitize learning and distribute it to employees all over the world. Each of us is on our own journey toward helping our organizations build great teams, but the challenges that we're facing are evolving. And so there are a new set of challenges that really require our collective attention. The first challenge is managing the candidate funnel. We're now in a world where we have thousands of applicants and candidates to look through. And so the problem has become, how do we get to the right shortlist as quickly as possible without wasting hundreds of hours scheduling and sorting through and screening people who really aren't a great fit? How do we spend most of our time focusing on that shortlist and making a great selection? The second's in the area of insights. More than ever, our business partners and our leadership are asking us to make sure that our talent strategies are lined up with the business strategy. How do we get the information we need to become part of that conversation in a profound way? The third's in the area of learning. We've done wonderful work together, digitizing learning and sharing it with our employees all over the world. But sometimes it goes unused, or it's hard to apply, and so the learning doesn't stick. How do we make learning into a culture phenomenon, to make it a daily habit, and to make sure that when people learn, that they can apply it, and so that the business can move forward? And then finally, number 4, how do we make sure that in all these endeavors, we're going towards the goal of building teams that are diverse, employee experiences that are amazing, and create that sense of belonging that every employee is looking out for? Because we all know that people do their best work when they come to work at a place where they feel cared for and connected with the people around them. So the rest of this keynote is going to be about how we're going to solve these challenges together through the lens of talent intelligence. Last year, we started a conversation with you. Our belief that the insights and the data that were flowing through LinkedIn had reached a tipping point, really allowing us to build product experiences and insights for you that are going to allow us to rethink different parts of the talent landscape. But whereas last year, the conversation was about looking to the horizon and thinking about what could be, this year, the focus is going to be about how we turn insights into impact today. Now, I have to admit, it's been a really fun year on the R&D team at LinkedIn. There's so much going on the LinkedIn consumer platform that's enabling us to build new things that we never thought possible before. And so whereas in prior Talent Connects, there was probably 1 or 2 main announcements that we had to share with you, this year we have 5. So let's walk through how we're going to get through this material together. So first, we're going to start with managing the candidate funnel. And John and Sarah Beth are going to come out and talk about how we're going to get focused on the right people so you can make hires as quickly and as efficiently as possible. How we're going to use AI and machine learning to focus on the right people. And then how we're going to enable sourcing and managing of applicants and candidates to become a much more seamless and integrated experience. Then Eric's going to come up and share with you the latest thinking on talent insights and the roadmap ahead, which is incredibly exciting. Hari's going to come up and share with you our roadmap for learning, talk about how learning through technology, but also not losing how people help people learn, how we each learn through each other, is a core part of getting this right. And finally, Monica and Rosanna are going to come up and share with you our roadmap in diversity, which is a new area for us. We have a lot to cover, so let's get started. Let's welcome up John Jerson, Vice President of Product at LinkedIn.
Thank you, Dan. It's great to be here with all of you. When we were here with you last year, we talked about a number of important topics, as Dan mentioned. I'm sure you remember all of the details, right? For those of you who missed it, and just in case, here's the overview. Our industry is being reshaped by a cascade of trends. Data is powering better insights and artificial intelligence. Insights and AI, in turn, are powering better hiring. We call this overall trend talent intelligence. And we've been delivering against this vision over the course of the last year. But this trend can be hard to see, just like other big trends. A while back, we were walking into Blockbuster Video to rent a movie. Today, we watch Netflix. Think about the last time you walked into a Blockbuster Video. It might be a while ago. I think I've probably been in a Bouts house more recently than a Blockbuster Video. But I remember walking in, you know what you want, but the only way to find something good is to look at every movie on every shelf one by one. Recruiting can feel like that sometimes, like you're just looking at every application of every person who even looked at your job. On Netflix, you're still looking at a list of movies, but it's a smart list with recommendations personalized just for you. LinkedIn's products have become like Netflix for recruiting. Across our products, instead of simple lists of candidates, you're now seeing smarter recommendations and high-quality matches. In the old world, you post a job and everyone sees it. But we launched a feature this year called job targeting. So when you post a job on LinkedIn, you can add skills and experience that tell our talent intelligence how to find the right people on LinkedIn, recommend your job just to them. We can then take those requirements and show them to job seekers in a new experience that we launched that shows job seekers how they match those requirements. We can do this instantly because when they're on LinkedIn, we have their profile. And then we can take the connections from their profile and show them who they know at your company so they can ask for a referral. And we can take that referral signal and give you better insight into who you should be prioritizing. But let's say, in this example, say this time they don't apply. They're just browsing. In the old world, you lost them. But we launched a new feature in Talent Media this year that picks up on that signal of interest and allows you to target campaigns to people who have interacted with your jobs or company page exactly like this. And if they interact with your campaign, that signal in turn gets sent to Recruiter, so you can target your searches for people who already have affinity for your talent brand. And finally, Recruiter is starting to do something new. It's now prompting you as you go about your search, asking what role you're searching for, prompting you to create a project. This enables Recruiter to personalize your search results just for you, just for that project. Features like these can make your job easier, but they can also make a candidate's experience better. And that matters because searching for a job can be frustrating too. You go to every job board in the world, you type in a search, and you just look at every job that comes up one by one. Imagine our example from the job seeker's perspective. Imagine you call Blockbuster, you ask for a movie recommendation. They have no idea who you are. So the best they can do is recommend a movie like Fast and the Furious 7. You might not know this, but it's one of the top grossing movies of all time. And that's how recommendations work in the Blockbuster world. On Netflix, they do know who you are, and their recommendations change. If, for example, you're a 7-year-old who just watched Toy Story, then Finding Nemo would be a much more sensible recommendation. To be clear, this is not a difference in intelligence. It's a difference in data. Data about who you are. Job boards in the old world, they don't know their job seekers. So the best they can do, no matter how much AI they have, is to say something like, when a new job seeker comes to their site, I don't know who you are, but I bet you love Fast and the Furious 7. LinkedIn does know its job seekers. They're LinkedIn members. So in the first second that someone sees jobs on our platform, we know where they've worked. We know what skills they have, what their career interests are, where they want to work. There are over 500 million members on LinkedIn, and just during the course of this presentation, over 7,000 new people will join LinkedIn. Over 50,000 new skills will be added to profiles. Over 1 million new connections will be made. All of this data and much, much more just doesn't exist anywhere else. That means that LinkedIn has the unique opportunity to leverage this understanding of people to produce the highest quality matches, those people who will drive your company forward. The team got so excited as we were building out these features that they wanted to take a step back and ask, how much more could we weave talent intelligence into our products? How do we take it to the max? And we came up with a simple answer that I'm excited to share with you right now. The simple answer is you take all of these products and you make them one product. When you see in the next few months, you see this new experience, you'll see that we rebuilt our entire suite of recruiting products onto a new common platform. You'll see the same tools, the same features, in a new seamless, streamlined experience. When you post a job, we'll start learning from the content of that job. We'll learn from who applies and which applicants you reach out to. We'll take all of that learning, and in turn, we'll make your searches on Recruiter better. And when you're searching on Recruiter, we'll be learning from what role you're searching for, who you reach out to, and how that conversation unfolds. We'll take all of that learning and in turn make your campaign targeting smarter. And we'll learn from your campaigns and who you're targeting, who's interacting, and who you're following up with, and we'll come full circle and we'll make your job targeting smarter. Everything learning from everything. And when you have a lead from Talent Media, a prospect from Recruiter, an applicant from Jobs, all of those will now flow into the same project. So you can manage your pipeline in a single experience, seamless experience. A simpler experience and a smarter experience. But we know that it's not just about our products. We know there are other important pieces of your work, like your ATS. And that's why we've been rolling out our most sophisticated integration with applicant tracking systems ever, Recruiter System Connect. When you integrate with your ATS, RSC simplifies your workflow. No more copying and pasting every profile field just to get them into your ATS. That's now one click. And we've seen talent intelligence playing a role here too. We've seen customers who are using the Past Applicant Spotlight, which is powered by RSC. They're improving their in-mail response rates by 50%. That's a tremendous improvement with the click of a button. We have over 1,500 customers on RSC today, and we're hearing from companies like Abercrombie & Fitch, Dropbox, and Lyft that they're all saving a ton of time and getting more work done. We also have an announcement on RSC that I'm happy to share with you today. As of just days ago, Oracle has agreed to work with us to bring Recruiter System Connect to many of their Taleo customers, along with new RSC features. We're excited to be welcoming them and other partners like Workday. We have over 20 partners now on Recruiter System Connect. So if you don't see your ATS on this list and you're experiencing symptoms like inefficient workflows, please talk to your LinkedIn rep about how RSC can help you. We think the future of talent intelligence will deliver the highest quality matches with the least amount of effort. Highest quality, least effort. We take an expansive view of these attributes. Least effort doesn't mean getting applications a few hours faster. It means you're not spending hours and hours interviewing candidates who are not the right fit. So you have more time to create a human connection with those people who are going to be joining your team as teammates. And highest quality doesn't mean you just find someone who gets the job. It means you find someone who can truly make an impact on your business. We believe these attributes define the future of hiring in our products and with our partners. But we know to truly live up to them, we need to do even more than we've done in the past. So that's why over a year ago, we set out to create a single experience that encapsulates the vision of talent intelligence better than anything else. You guys want to see it? Let's roll the video.
Please welcome to the stage Sarah Beth Anders.
You haven't been shy about telling us what you want, and we love it. I've been developing products for HR leaders over the last 10 years, and this is the most excited I've ever been to announce a new product. Every year, you come to Talent Connect and you ask, is this the year LinkedIn's going to announce they're building an ATS? This is the year. But it wasn't enough for us just to build an ATS. We asked ourselves if we could reinvent what it means to be an ATS in the era of talent intelligence. We challenged ourselves to imagine what an ATS could do when built on LinkedIn's data. And so, over the last year, we've partnered with 20 customers who are helping us to design the product that brings source, manage, and hire together in one place. And it's called Talent Hub. A hub is defined as a center of something, and Talent Hub is at the center of all of our LinkedIn products that we love, combined with a completely reimagined candidate management experience. It's powered by LinkedIn's 500 million members, enabling you with smarter decisions with tailored insights at every touch point. Let's dive in, because I can't wait to show you what we've been working on. As of this moment, we all work together at the same company. Peter is our company's recruiter, and Katie is our hiring manager. And together, we're hiring a marketing manager. The rec has been approved, and right away, Peter and Katie can open the role together. But the collaboration doesn't stop there. We heard it from you over and over again. There needs to be a better way to work with hiring managers. They slow down the process, they change their minds constantly, and they want the rec filled yesterday. Sound familiar? But we also heard from you that building strong relationships with hiring managers is critical to your success. And it all starts with the intake meeting. It's the foundation of where all expectations are set. So it's time for Katie and Peter to do the intake meeting. This will look familiar to you if you've posted a job on LinkedIn. This is the power of all of our LinkedIn products together in one place. And by answering 3 simple questions, intelligent information is delivered back to Katie and Peter so that they can start on the same page with clear expectations. All right, Talent Hub delivers a job description powered by the 20 million jobs on LinkedIn, or they can write their own. But what's really cool here is that for the first time ever, Katie and Peter have insights into the talent pool, enabling them to have a better, more productive conversation. Okay, now it's time to define the skills and competencies we're looking for. A marketing manager means different things to different companies, to different hiring managers. In this case, these are the skills that Katie needs for this person to hit the ground running. But these skills make the talent pool too narrow. Who has this conversation every day with their hiring managers? Yep, I get it. Okay, so Katie agreed that content marketing is a nice to have. So let's move that skill down, widen the pool of talent, and post the job. This is what we're used to seeing when we post a job in our ATS. A blank screen, where we either need to wait for inbound candidates to apply, or we go to Recruiter to start sourcing. But because of all of the work that Katie and Peter just did in the hiring intake meeting, LinkedIn has created the search string for them, and they're ready to start sourcing candidates together immediately. Imagine that, your ATS coming preloaded with candidates open to new opportunities. Pretty cool, right? Yeah. One of the biggest pains we hear from hiring managers is that they want to be part of the process and they don't feel like they're part of it. Finally, Katie gets her own dashboard where she's able to see all of the progress of her open recs. All right, looks like we're bringing Blake, Cameron, and Veronica into the on-sites, and Blake looks amazing. He's a company referral, an employee referral. He's a company follower. He's super interested in our company, and he works in a similar industry. Fast forwarding to after the on-sites, Katie can see all feedback from the panel in her dashboard in one place. Okay, it looks like Blake, his homework missed the mark, but Cameron, wow, look at her. She's amazing. She's a great culture ad. Her presentation was amazing. Turns out she's the team's candidate crush. Let's hire her. Marketing is playing such a huge role in fueling the company's growth. This hire will have the biggest impact on customer acquisition. This hire is a big deal. Talent Hub infuses insights into every moment of the recruiting process. But let me show you my favorite one. This is for those hiring managers that need that little bit of confidence to ensure that they're hiring the right person. I get it. As a hiring manager myself, I always wonder, have I spoken to enough people? Is this person the right person? These insights eliminate all FOMO. So here we can see that Cameron had a unanimously high score, but what we can see here is that this talent pool is really hard to fill, and that we found her in half the time that it usually takes to fill roles like this. Cameron looks amazing. Let's send her an offer and a background check, which we can also do from Talent Hub. You know the feeling when you have a really hard to fill role in a market that's impossible, and you finally find someone. It's the reason we're all in this field, to find that one person that will make such a big impact on the company. Which is why I'm so excited to announce that Cameron accepted and she starts in 2 weeks. All right. Woo! But the insights don't stop there. We provide you with hundreds of insights in the moments you need them, getting you closer to finding more Camerons. And that's Talent Hub. Source, manage, and hire in one place. We currently have 20 customers on Talent Hub, and we begin our wider beta in February, and the product will be available later next year to mid-market customers. I know it's a long ways from now, but for those of you that are as excited as I am, and we all are, I can tell you now that this is all starting at less than the cost of a recruiter seat. And we're so excited about what Talent Hub brings to our existing set of customers that we've put together an extraordinary set of incentives. So go to this link, get on the wait list, because the first 100 that sign up are gonna get a free first year. Everything you saw today was built for you because you asked for it, you need it, and we're your partner to deliver it. Thank you so much for inspiring us to create great things.
What do you see? If you work in talent, you see possibility. A fresh canvas to fill, and space for opportunity. Because great talent is everywhere. And great talent decisions come from asking better questions. Questions that go deeper. Questions that make a difference. LinkedIn has over 500 million members taking millions of actions every day. Every connection, every update is a real-time look at the global workforce. And now that same data is available to you on demand with a new business intelligence tool that can transform your entire talent strategy. This is LinkedIn Talent Insights. It shows you exactly where talent is and where it's going. It delivers key insights on peer companies and elevates your strategic role. It presents billions of data points in an intuitive way, so you can ask the big questions. So, what kind of company will you be? You will help answer this question. You will help paint the bigger picture, because every business is only as good as its people. And with LinkedIn Talent Insights, it starts with you.
Please welcome Eric Auski.
Hi, everyone. I asked for pyrotechnics in my presentation. I got a hard no, so congrats to Sarah Beth for pulling it off. Last year on this stage, I announced that we were building LinkedIn Talent Insights, a real-time product that brings all of LinkedIn's data on the global labor market to your fingertips for the first time. We built Talent Insights because of the absolute deluge of data requests we were getting from you and your teams, more than 10,000 per year, to help you answer questions like, which universities are producing the R&D talent we need? Where's the best location to scale our sales team? Are we losing critical skills to competitors? And do we have the skills we need to win the game we're playing? Why are you even asking these questions in the first place? Well, in part because your CEOs and executive teams are asking them of you with greater frequency. I know Satya and Jeff ask questions like these of our teams all the time. But also because you intuitively know that building winning teams requires a 360-degree view of the playing field. So today, I'm excited and very proud to announce that Talent Insights is here, and it's available globally everywhere right now. And I think you'll agree as we take a closer look at the product, it's very cool. But more importantly, over the last 11 months, as we've watched early users use the product, I believe it's going to transform talent. If you're a sourcer or recruiter, it's going to help you work smarter and build stronger hiring manager relationships. And if you're a senior talent leader, it is going to help you drive strategic conversations. No one in this room wants to be left picking up the pieces of big decisions that were made without your input or without good data inputs. If I had to distill the sentiment we've heard from talent leaders who have been involved in our early access programs over the last 11 months into one statement, it's this: how did we do our jobs without this? So before I dive into the product, I just want to take a quick refresher from last year. Talent Insights contains two different types of reports. The Talent Pool Report, which allows you to analyze any talent population in the world by skill or by title, and the Company Report, which allows you to analyze workforce trends at your company and also competitors. So I want to start by sharing a few of my favorite things about the product. First is the Company Report. If there's been one element of the product that gets people out of their seats during a live demo, squinting to get a closer look at the screen, it's this, because nothing like it has ever existed before. Here are a few things that we've seen our early customers do with the Company Report. Let's say I'm a global auto company, and I want to analyze my engineering attrition. I can click on the attrition tab in the Company Report, and I can see that my engineering attrition rate is 3%, which is great. That's actually better than my peers. But right now, we are hustling to build a self-driving vehicle. And so I can filter this report just on the skills we need to win that game: artificial intelligence, computer vision, and autonomous vehicles. And now the data tells a different story. Our attrition rate for that population is 8%. So now we know there's a problem and we can do something about it. Or let's say you want to know where an emerging competitor is gaining its talent. This is Stripe, a fast-growing startup in the payment space. And if we click the Talent Flow tab, we can see that Stripe is gaining talent from all of the big tech companies, and they aren't losing to anyone. And by the way, if you want to go recruit at Stripe, it looks like a sweet gig, because you're just getting yeses all day from all of these companies. Or perhaps you want to know when a competitor is entering a new market. This is a global insurance firm. And if you click the location tab, we can see that Egypt is the fastest growing location at the company. But with Talent Insights, we can zoom in on Egypt, and we can see what they're doing there, which roles they're hiring, and how fast each one is growing. What all of these examples make clear is that the company report sits at the intersection of business strategy and talent intelligence. The next thing I love about the product is that search is fast, flexible, and intuitive. When you do a talent pool search in Talent Insights, you're scanning over 500 million member profiles, over 20 million jobs, and we are calculating hundreds of things on the fly, but you wouldn't know it. Behind me, you see searches running for salespeople in Australia and oncology researchers globally. And these are real searches. We return the average search in Talent Insights in less than a second and a half. And the product's going to continue to get faster. We're committed to giving you the answers you need immediately. Search is also flexible. Behind me right now, you'll see a search running for material scientists in Europe. Now, this search is pulling the right population into the report, but when we look at the titles tab, we notice that it's pulling in some academic titles, and we don't typically have success recruiting from an academic talent pool. So we just click to exclude those titles, and we rerun the report. Third, Talent Insights is built on the principle of transparency. There are no black boxes in the product. Every metric is defined, and every calculation is exposed, so that when you take a report to your head of research and development, and she asks, how did LinkedIn come up with this number? The answer will be right there in the product. Over the last 11 months, we've been collaborating with a group of early access customers to improve the product. And that gave us a front row seat for many of the early user wins that they had. For example, Intel used Talent Insights to find the best market for software engineers in Poland. The talent pool report gave them a clear picture of the competitive landscape in Krakow, and they decided to take out a billboard campaign outside the offices of a few competitors in Krakow. Now, I love this story because they used a product with real-time global labor market data, infused with tons of sophisticated machine learning, and then they bought billboards. But they did it because they had intimate knowledge of the local market. That is instincts and insights working together to create impact. Microsoft moved dozens of open requisitions for cybersecurity talent from one market to another. The talent pool report gave them a clear picture that Washington, D.C. was the best market for two reasons. One, there was plentiful supply of talent there, and two, they knew going in that they could win head-to-head with the competitors in that market. Their success was both strategic, they knew where to allocate the heads, and tactical. They were able to give their recruiters a clear roadmap on how to go get the talent that they needed. In observing hundreds of early users have success with the product, I had a small epiphany. We have mythologized data. Every HR conference for the last decade has probably made you feel bad about how you're getting left behind in the age of big data. But what our early access programs made clear is that it is not a lack of will or skill or intuition about how to apply data to everyday problems. It's that the tools suck, or the ones you have dreamed of do not exist. Within a few weeks of giving the product to some of our early users, we saw recruiters building stronger hiring manager relationships using data from Talent Insights. We saw talent teams shifting budget from one talent area to another, where they knew talent was demonstrably more scarce, building intelligent employer brand campaigns, selecting new site locations, moving millions of dollars in open headcount from one location to another. We had early customers in mining, construction, financial services, semiconductor, telecom, all having success with the product. And they used the product to make decisions in places like Malaysia, China, Algeria, and Estonia, and that is just to name a few. So no matter what industry you're in, no matter what role you play in your talent organization, no matter where you are in the world, it's clear from the last several months that Talent Insights is for you. that it will help you make you better at what you do. And we are just getting started. Over the next year, we plan to release dozens of new features and metrics, and I want to highlight just a few. The first is salary, which has been one of the most requested features from our early users. Because anytime you're assessing a new market or getting ready to make an offer to a great candidate, it's a critical data point. We plan to launch salary and talent insights later this year. Next, we plan to embed the intelligence from talent insights into our other products. So, for example, if you're a recruiter user, you will see insights embedded throughout the entire experience, helping you recruit more strategically and efficiently. And if you do need to go deeper, you'll be able to take your search from recruiter to talent insights in one click. And finally, we're investing in making these insights come to you. Real-time alerts will let you know whenever there's a change in a talent pool or when a new competitor emerges for a critical skill. Our goal is to help you operate more proactively and to make you the most informed people in the room. So to get started today, you can check out Talent Insights at the Plan Showcase area. This is really the beginning of a long journey, and together we're going to transform the way talent decisions are made. Just one note before I close. Last year at Talent Connect, I talked about our vision to expand talent analytics far beyond the universe of LinkedIn data. We want to help you make intelligent decisions about the entire employee lifecycle. And now to share more about how that vision is going to come to life, I want to welcome Dan Shapero back to the stage.
Awesome. Product's so cool. We've had a ton of fun playing around with it and leveraging it within LinkedIn internally. And I have to say that the feedback that we've gotten from all of you on the product since we first shared this idea at last Talent Connect has really exceeded our expectations. And it's gotten us to ask the question, what would thinking bigger actually look like? How do we go beyond what's possible with the product that we already have that's doing so well? And the thing that we realized was that many of the questions that you're asking around building new competencies within your organization or charting new territory, the data on LinkedIn is really half the picture. Because there's also an internal view that could add so much color and richness to the conversation. And so that's what led us to the question of, how do we go into helping companies really understand what's going on within their organizations and whether their organizations are functioning in a healthy way? As we talked about earlier, we announced our intent to acquire Glint, which is a leader in employee engagement. And part of what draws us to Glint is that we've been a customer for years, and we found that the products that they offer have really helped us transform LinkedIn and make it a place where our culture is rich and profound. And so to talk a little bit about that vision, I'd love to welcome up CEO of Glint, Jim Barnett, to the stage.
Thank you, Dan.
How are you?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dan. One of the reasons we're excited to be here today is that both LinkedIn and Glint share a view that people drive company success, and that great companies are built on a foundation of great people and great teams. Glint's a people success platform. What that means is we help companies measure and improve employee engagement. We help them develop and grow their people. And we help them connect that to business outcomes. We do that by giving them the visibility into what's going on with their teams. But we do more than that. We give them insights to tell them what they can do to improve various areas. And lastly, we provide them with guidance on how to take action and where to take action. 5 years ago, my co-founder, Gautam Kura, and I decided to start a company, and we wanted to do something that would be of service to humanity, something that would be a gift to humanity. And I thought a lot about my career, and when I started my career, I worked at some companies where people weren't very happy. And at that point in my life, I began a journey to understand better what makes people happy in life. And one of the really important lessons that I learned was that people who live a life in service of others, on average, tend to be happier than other people. So one of the foundations of our company was to create a company that was of service to others. And our mission is to help people be happier and more successful at work. And our vision is a world where your people love their job. So we're helping companies around the globe, companies like United Airlines, United Technologies, Roche, Ericsson. We help them in a variety of ways. Their leaders and their people teams can see what's the roadmap for their success. All of their team managers, all their managers can see their data. They can understand the health of their organization and see what they should do about it. And then we connect all of that to business outcomes, right? So things like customer satisfaction, patient satisfaction, safety, transportation on-time rates, attrition, critical things like that. And not only do we show them what engagement things are driving those, but we can actually predict which of their teams might have problems in those areas. So we're thrilled to be a part of LinkedIn, and we're really excited to see what kind of products we're going to be able to build together.
That's awesome, Jim. We've experienced the power of the product firsthand as a customer. And one of the things that you didn't mention but we really love about the product is how you take all the verbatims that people enter about their feedback and you apply AI and machine learning to help distill a more robust picture of what's actually going on, which is just super cool. And just to share a couple ideas of where we're thinking about things in the future, we definitely want to get to a world where any talent question that you ask, we can present the external picture of what's going on in the labor market for that question alongside the internal view. Perhaps you're wondering how to increase your skills in Java development. Well, it'd be great to understand what the market looks like and how your own Java engineers feel about working at your company. It just feels like a much more complete picture.
Really exciting.
And then for those of you in the learning space, I love this. I mean, when I get my Glint scores, it tells me things that I'm doing well and things that I could work on. And I always wonder, well, what can I do next? I'm really excited about the world where we'll generate for every person who's getting feedback a custom curriculum that maps to what they heard. So maybe if they need to get better at running meetings with their teams, that will give them prep on how to run a great meeting. Or if they have to work on career conversations, then we can map them to content there. So it's just really exciting what we can do at this intersection of employee engagement and success, insights and learning. It just feels like such a wonderful fit. So anyway, great to have you on stage.
Thank you
Jim.
so much.
Thank you so much. Great. So we're more than halfway done. We have 2 more sections. And to come up next, I'd like to invite up Hari Srinivasan to talk about our roadmap and learning.
I want to personally welcome all the learning and development professionals here today. Those who were here before and those joining us for the very first time. Now, you all know, as well as anyone, that it's nearly impossible to pick up a magazine today and not see the words skills gaps or automation. You also know, as well as anyone, that learning is a key part of solving these challenges. It's not an exaggeration to say that learning in our organizations is as important as ever. It is precisely because learning is so important in creating economic opportunity that we at LinkedIn decided to enter the learning space 3 years ago, initially through the acquisition of lynda.com, the leader in online learning content. And since then, we've been on a mission to reinvent the learning industry. Now, despite all the headlines, we hear all the time across the industry that people aren't using our learning solutions. We hear that some employees simply aren't engaging with them. We dug in a little bit more with our members, and we kept hearing things like this. It's hard to make time for learning. And honestly, I think that's a polite way of saying it's not worth our time to take your learning. You see, people spend their time on things that solve real acute problems they're dealing today, or things that help their long-term careers. And unfortunately, online learning doesn't often qualify for those. Now, of course, we've all seen and taken learning that really is worth our time. Take a second and think about a learning course you've taken, maybe something at work or a musical instrument. I bet what you're thinking about is in-person training. I bet there was a teacher and a group of people around you that really made that training come to life. I know I've certainly had that experience. You see, growing up, I was born with a speech impediment, where I couldn't say the letters S or the letter R. And by the way, when your last name is Srinivasan, not being able to say the letter S and the letter R is a particularly ironic way to live life. Now, my school didn't have a full-time speech therapist, so a couple days a week after school, I would go into a computer and I'd talk into this microphone and kind of get feedback back from this computer. But that's not the only way I got better. There was a part-time speech therapist named Mrs. Robb, and she'd come in every now and then, and she'd give me tips. And I had a whole community, a bunch of friends around me also who attended, who'd do flashcards with me and so forth. And together, with Mrs. Robb, the speech therapist, and this computer, that whole experience, I got better. Now, what made my experience work so well? Well, I had great content from the computer. I had Mrs. Robb giving me insights on how to improve them, and I had a really supportive community around me. Now, of course, this equation is not new to any of the L&D people in the room. You guys use this equation all the time. I've seen incredible in-person learning content and experiences that you guys craft, and I've taken a ton of them at LinkedIn, and they're amazing. But the reality is those don't scale, and they're not going to scale to meet the challenges we have today. But what if we could do things a little bit differently? What if we could take the great content, the great insights, the social learning, all the great experiences that we do, and move it into an online world that scales? What if we could bring together the best of both worlds? That's the vision of LinkedIn Learning, and that's what I want to talk about today. Now, every great learning product starts with great content. We're lucky to have 20 years of content experience through lynda.com. We have over 13,000 courses in our library, and we're adding 2,500 courses each year to make sure we always have up-to-date content. Our content is used by over 18 million learners in over 12,000 different organizations, including some of the most notable organizations in the world, from the Navy to NBC, Estee Lauders to Kellogg. But what makes our content truly unique, truly special, is that we use real-life experts in our content, not actors and not YouTube celebrities. It's pretty amazing you can log into the product today and get content and learning from the very best in their field. These are the people I know I want to learn from, and these are the people who I think make teaching really work. It does matter who's teaching the course, and we're lucky to have the very best teachers on LinkedIn. But of course, it doesn't matter how much content we have. In order to get people to take a course, we got to get them the right content at the right time. And that's where insights really fit in. Now, we talked about how insights can be used in Recruiter to help you find who to hire. Well, we use insights in learning to help you understand what courses to take and when to take them. Now, we use insights all day long in our product today. If you log in, you get a bunch of content, which we recommend exactly to the person based on their industry or their profile. What I'm excited to announce today is a different level of insights. For admins, we're letting you get insights across the organizational level, so you can see skills gaps across the entire team on what people actually need to learn. Let's take a look at how that works today. You can log in, and you can see your skills gaps across your entire company. And as an admin, you can, of course, filter by location, or you can filter by geo. Looks like this company is doing particularly well in analytics and not so well in Java. With a single click, you can start recommending Java courses to your group. How's that for a direct way to close the skills gap? Now, for our existing members, this will start rolling out in the next few months, and I'm really, really looking forward to your feedback. There's one more thing that works super well in learning in the instructor-led world. It's the ability to have people around you. I got better because of Mrs. Robb, and I got better because of a community that was super helpful, but that's often missing from online learning today. This is why I'm so excited that we're starting to bring the LinkedIn community to LinkedIn Learning. Now, if you have a question, you can go online and get help from the LinkedIn community. If you want to know how you can better apply a course, you can go online and see notes and highlights left around from other people in your organization. And if you want to keep up to date with great content, you can go on and follow instructors who you really bond with. Across all these examples, the goal is the same. By making learning more social, more connected, we are making learning more applicable, which ideally will be worth more people's time. It is possible to make a learning solution that people love, and it is possible to bring the best of instructor-led training and online training together. But don't just take it from me. Take it from our customers and our members. Every time I see this quote, I always think of one that always jumps out for me. It's from someone named Haneen. And he says, "It's been my safety net. For anything I don't understand, I go to LinkedIn Learning." I hope one day you guys get as much value from LinkedIn Learning as Haneen does today. Thank you, and back to Dan.
Thanks, man. Thank you, Hari. It's really exciting to envision a world where we can create cultures of learning in our organizations, where we take the best of digital technology and wonderful content production, amazing instructors, and ultimately the social aspect of learning, which is really how we all learn with and through others. But I like to, when I think about the promise of talent intelligence, it goes well beyond the idea of using insights to transform how we plan, hire, and develop our teams. It's actually about how these things come together to allow us to solve new problems in new ways. We can start to look at hiring externally and developing our talent internally as two halves of the same strategy to help our organizations build the capabilities they need to enable the business. I can imagine a future where we sit down on Monday morning and we sit down with a business partner of ours. Perhaps the prototype that we built got amazing market research, the executive team greenlit the project, and now we have to build out a supply chain in a couple quarters' time to get the product to hit market to meet our customers' needs. Now we can look at the internal talent pool and say, well, who do we already have that we can work with? Perhaps who's close to the mark and has adjacent skills where we can fill in the gaps through learning content. Maybe we can satisfy half the need that way, but we can supplement it with a couple key external hires in new talent pools. Rather than hearing the business strategy from the business and reacting, we can sit down with our business partners and chart territory that enables the companies that we work for to do things that we didn't think were possible before. This is how we take the best of talent and turn it into a team experience that helps our companies chart the future. But it's not just about how we assemble a set of skills to help our companies win. It's about how those teams come together. And through all of our experiences, winning teams have a number of characteristics. They're passionate, they're trusting, they're collaborative, they're inspired. But I think the research is clear on one thing in particular, which is winning teams are diverse. Diverse in all aspects. Diverse in terms of thought, in terms of culture, in terms of background. And it's our jobs to make sure that the teams that we're building on our companies are diverse in all those aspects. Now, many of my conversations with you, a lot of us are prioritizing diversity as a core initiative within the company, but I know that a lot of our results in our companies have been mixed. And so about 2 years ago, LinkedIn formed a tiger team of our R&D team, members of our talent leadership, to understand the obstacles and challenges that companies are facing in building and developing diverse teams. We started by talking to our members and customers, and we built a short video to share with you what we learned and what we heard. Cue the video.
When I go in for an interview, I usually see the facial expression.
You're not what I expected, or, oh, you don't look how you sound.
Based on my last name, they're expecting a Caucasian person, and in comes me.
I didn't even have a chance because I had an email address with an AOL on it. The employer just saw that and thought, oh my God, the woman's old.
She started asking a little bit more personal questions and then just flat out asked how I was doing with the ladies.
As a teacher, I always teach my kids to include everyone, but for some reason, as adults, we've lost that.
The data on more diverse teams is absolutely irrefutable.
In terms of your revenue, your earnings, and in terms of how successful you are as a business.
Data is only great if we can turn that into insights and do something meaningful with it.
I think one of the most damaging phrases in history is that we've always done it this way.
If you hire an employee and they don't see people that look like them in leadership in the organization, they're not going to stay in the organization.
If you can't see it, you can't be it.
I don't necessarily want to fit in. I want to be the best. I want an opportunity to shine. And I want to do something that hasn't existed before.
Don't hire me because I'm a box to check off.
Hire me because I'm the best person for the job.
I can't change my race, I can't change my sexuality, I can't change who I am, but I can change the way that I treat people.
Get comfortable with being uncomfortable and be willing to do the work.
Diversity and inclusion is not an HR problem to solve. It's not a talent acquisition problem to solve. It is something that the organization really needs to mobilize around at every single level.
Be yourself, and you will draw the same people that have the same interests as you, and you don't have to be fake.
Now that I'm actually able to walk into a professional work setting and be myself comfortably, I realize that I'm not monitoring every step I make. I'm actually there and flourishing as an employee.
We're just as ambitious, just as motivated, just as driven, and just as hungry as anybody else.
The challenge is finding the great talent. It's like a needle in the haystack. And so if somebody could help us find that needle, that would be amazing.
When I watch that video, I feel the weight of the responsibility that I have, that we all have, as the community that's in the center of making progress on this topic. And the power of a future where everyone feels like they go to a workplace where they belong and where the opportunities in front of them are guided by their capabilities as a person. It's gonna take a lot of focus from all of us to make progress here. And we at LinkedIn believe that we have a role to play. As an employer, we place a premium on diversity, inclusion, and belonging at LinkedIn. And so we've spent time talking to our internal talent leaders and understanding the specific challenges that hiring organizations face, the development organizations face, and understanding the specific ways where the LinkedIn platform can make a difference. And so I'd like to invite up Rosanna Jaruthi, Head of Diversity, Inclusion, and Belonging at LinkedIn, to share how she's lent her voice to our product strategy and the products that we're going to build in this area. Welcome up, Rosanna.
Good morning, everyone. I'm particularly excited to be here at Talent Connect. And I must say, I feel a particular connection to this audience. So I know a few of you are in talent acquisition. Can I hear anything? And some of you are in learning and development. Welcome. And I know that there may even be a few HR generalists. I just want you to know you are my people. Now, in all seriousness, we just saw a video that for me was particularly profound. I think we're all familiar with the challenges depicted in that video. Certainly, it's not only powerful in that it's moving, but it's powerful for a group of people who care about talent and are actually responsible for attracting and building diverse teams. And so when I think about how some of those experiences are familiar to me, and I'm sure for many of you, you've seen this in your own work environments. At a minimum, I think we can agree that when our employees feel like that, it makes our jobs all the more difficult. In my current role as leader for diversity, inclusion, and belonging at LinkedIn, I feel a particular responsibility around this space. And I have particular respect for the work you do, because I recognize that being effective in diversity and inclusion means thinking across the full talent life cycle that we all have an accountability for. And among the reasons that taking this role at LinkedIn was particularly exciting and meaningful to me was the opportunity to work with the product team to help shape our product strategy and to really bring a new lens and set a new course for diversity at LinkedIn. Over the past year, much like you, I haven't been shy. I've lent my voice to Dan and the product team, and I've been particularly excited by sharing my own wish list around what a diversity solution looks like. So let me take you to that and help you see that. So number one, it has to be diversity by design. If we're thinking about this, when I joined LinkedIn, we were already thinking about the product, and we were actually considering a product for diversity hiring. But experience and history tells us that separate talent pipelines doesn't necessarily create equal outcomes. So I'm particularly thrilled that we're doing something that I think is going to be far more powerful. And what we're doing is we've chosen to actually integrate diversity insights across our entire portfolio and make it a part of every stage of your talent process. Now, diversity by design means when we use LinkedIn tools, whether to plan and set hiring goals, whether to recruit and search for candidates, whether to develop managers to be more inclusive leaders, diversity is a core principle that will be integrated throughout. My second wish list item is that it has to be based on trust. We hear from our employees and we hear from our members, don't hire me because I'm a diversity statistic. Don't filter me out or exclude me based on race and gender. Hire me because I am the best candidate for this role. And number three, it has to make it easier for us to make the business case for diversity. We heard Maya say it very well there. Diversity isn't a TA challenge. It's an organization-wide challenge. And we all share in that accountability. And we want to make it easier to help build that kind of accountability. We want to be able to help businesses set goals and be able to measure diversity outcomes just as we would any other business objective. Now, we're still in our early days, and it's been a really good first year in making progress. But I think there's a great opportunity to bring up my partner, Monica Lewis, who's head of product for diversity, for jobs and diversity, to share a little more about these first steps.
Thank you, Rosanna. I am so excited to be here with you all today to share what we've been up to. Because we so frequently hear from customers that diversity, inclusion, and belonging are top of mind. But I just need to do a pulse check with this room to see if that's the case for you here today. So could you just raise your hand if diversity is a priority for you and your teams? Amazing. Okay, I want you to, keep your hand up just for a moment, including all you out there on the stream, dialing in from a Starbucks. I want you to reach up with your other hand and give yourself a high five. Because by committing to build diverse teams, you're also committing to build winning teams. As a product manager, a piece of advice that I've heard is you need to fall in love with a problem. And as someone who spent their career working in industries and roles where women are underrepresented, from aeronautical engineering to manufacturing to construction and now technology, I can say that this problem is one that is near and dear to my heart. That's why I feel so grateful to be in the role that I'm at LinkedIn, a place that I believe is uniquely positioned to work with all of you and drive change at global scale. So, imagine with me for a moment. Well, and it turns out that most of you don't even need to imagine. You're a talent acquisition leader, and you have a priority this year of improving gender representation in your engineering org. Now, I want to mention that we're starting with gender. We're building gender insights throughout our products because we know that it's a globally relevant issue, and we wanted to dig in. But we're also aware that diversity means so much more than gender, with dozens of attributes we can think about. And that's why we'll be looking to scale experiences like the ones I'm about to share across other demographics in the future. So, earlier today, my colleague Eric showcased talent insights. But one thing that he didn't mention, the part that I am most excited about, is that we're integrating gender insights into the experience. Let's check it out. I can quickly and easily understand the gender representation of my own company and compare it to peers in my industry. This is what Rosanna meant when she said we need to think about diversity by design. We're not filtering people out. We're not creating a standalone product. Because we know that for you and your teams to be successful, this needs to be part of the core of what you're doing and how you're working every day. So we can dig in further and see function by function how we're doing across different teams. I'm really excited about the potential for this data to help you have more conversations with your business partners, help them understand what the landscape looks like. Because as we all know, and as Rosanna mentioned, this isn't a problem that TA alone can solve. So we can see here there is indeed room to improve in engineering at the top of that list. And now we're going to dig in and start to build a strategy to move the needle. So let's create a talent pool report. We need to hire programmers skilled in certain languages. Let's check out C and C++ based in the US. We're going to get that report to understand that talent pool, but we can also now easily understand the gender representation of professionals on LinkedIn with those skills. It looks like for this particular pool, it's mostly men. Now here's where the magic happens. Talent Insights is going to enable us to find hidden gems, talent pools that my team might otherwise overlook, but where there's greater gender representation. Check it out, healthcare. As an employer in technology, healthcare may not be top of mind for recruiting, but it looks like there's greater representation of women programmers in this industry. I can take this information and start to be more strategic when I think about creating my searches. We can also do the same and look by region. And it looks like New York, Chicago, and yes, my hometown Philly are places with greater gender representation. That's where I'm going to build my billboards, or maybe a little bit easier, just make sure to include those in my search on Recruiter. I'm excited to share that Gender Insights are available for all customers of Talent Insights starting today. Now, thinking about diversity by design means that we're also thinking about and integrating these insights throughout our core products. In Recruiter, we've been working on a lot of powerful things. One thing that we've heard in talking to customers is that they know the talent's out there, they're just having trouble finding it. As John mentioned earlier, we've invested substantially in improving our Recruiter algorithms, going so far beyond keyword matching to look at things like signals. Who is your team engaging with in hiring? What candidates are likely to have affinity for your company? And as we've done this, we've also invested in making sure that you are getting representative results. It's simple. When you go about sourcing those healthcare programmers that are 42% women, as you're viewing those search results, you'll see that same balance page by page in Recruiter. We're also lighting up insights on gender diversity in your in-mail and your jobs reporting. This is going to enable your team to explore important questions like, who's being attracted to my jobs and applying? Are men and women responding to my messages at different rates? These insights are going to help your teams know where they can prioritize their efforts to have the most impact. And as we've heard from you, we need to engage the broader organization in solving this problem. And that's why I'm really excited to share that we've curated a curriculum of diversity courses. These are amongst the most popular courses on all of LinkedIn Learning on important topics like confronting bias, cultivating inclusive leadership, and managing diversity. We're making these courses available for free for you and your team so you can start and continue those conversations. Check it out in the Talent Connect app for more information. So at LinkedIn, we really want to help every organization build, develop, and retain diverse teams. And that's why I'm so excited for you all to start leveraging these new features. But you know, this is really just the first step. So I also want to thank you in advance for your partnership, for your passion, for your feedback. As for what's next, we'll be scaling these experiences to other demographics, and we'll also be digging in, developing new capabilities to help your teams move the needle on that important priority of diversity. I'm so excited to get to be here with you today, but I'm also well aware that we don't have all the answers. But thank you for letting us be part of the solution with you. And with that, I'll hand it back to Dan.
Great. Be seated. Wonderful. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground. Thank you, Rosanna and Monica, for sharing our diversity roadmap. Very exciting. In closing, I'd like to leave everyone with 3 points. The first is that we at LinkedIn firmly believe that the next decade of talent solutions are going to be oriented around this principle of talent intelligence, that insights can change the way we plan, hire, and develop our teams so that our companies can win in our markets. The second is that LinkedIn is taking a much more holistic approach to the space of talent, and the audience here at Talent Connect reflects that ambition. And then finally, I just want to take a moment and say thank you. A lot of the announcements that we made today about our products really started with conversations with all of you. Your push to get us to build an ATS, your questions around how can we turn LinkedIn data into insights that we can use on our own in real time, prompting us to figure out the role that we can play in diversity. And so my ask of everyone is to use the rest of the conference to pull aside someone from LinkedIn and tell them what's on your mind. No filtered feedback. Let us know how we can help all move forward together. Have a wonderful conference, and thanks to you so much for your time this morning.